Hey everyone, Kyle Sulerud here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Google Keyword Planner. This could probably be an hour-long video if we got into every feature of the planner, but I'm just going to show you some of the most important features and basically how I would use it when setting up a campaign. So to get to the Keyword Planner, you can go to Google, type it in. It's going to be the top result. Or I've set up a quick link you can use. If you go to adleg.com/kp, that'll redirect you to the same place. You'll need to be logged into your AdWords account when you go here. If you're not logged in, it'll prompt you to log in. And you'll get to a screen that looks like this. Find new keywords and get search volume data. So let's use a hypothetical example here and say we're setting up a campaign for a plumbing company in Chicago. So in this first box here, we want to enter what our service is. So we are a plumber, which is also usually the way people search when they're using Google. If they're looking for a plumber, they search for plumber. And then these other boxes just leave blank. For targeting, we'll need to remove United States and we'll add Chicago and then save. And then the rest of the options we're going to leave alone also. So we click Get Ideas, and then this is what the results page will look like. At the top here, it shows us the keyword we entered, which was plumber. Shows us the average monthly searches. The competition, high, meaning there are lots of people bidding on that keyword. And the suggested bid, which is $20.08 per click. If we want to look at the trend here, if we want to look at a year's worth of searches, so this is 2,900 average monthly searches. If we hover over this little graph, it'll show us for each month in the past year how many searches actually were there for plumber. And you can also see that it started to spike up here, June, July, and then went back down in August. This is helpful if you're trying to forecast and trying to predict what kind of a budget you want. So if you're bidding on a lot of keywords that have seasonal searches, there's more people searching in a certain time of the year. This is what will show you that. You can see a graph up at the top here also, but this graph is taking into account all the keywords in this list below, which I'll get to in a second. I just want to point out one more thing regarding these graphs. If you go to the date range to the left here, you can change this. We can actually go all the way back to 2012. So now we can show all this data for the last 4 years. If we hover over here, you can actually see that plumber didn't have this spike in July in previous years. So it may have just been a random increase of traffic here this year. Since it hasn't done that ever before, I probably wouldn't expect it to do that again. So again, just if you're using this for budgeting, forecasting purposes, it's good to look back as far as you can. If there is a definite cycle every year, then you can probably count on the same thing happening again. All right, I'm going to switch this back to how it was. So let's look at the other results below here. We see a number of other keywords. In fact, they're giving us 700 keywords below here. And they're trying to match up, Google is trying to match up as best they can other keywords related to to our keyword here, plumber. The default sort is by relevance. So at the top, we're usually going to see a lot of other keywords that we want to bid on, keywords that other advertisers are bidding on. Toilet repair, rooter, plumber spelt incorrectly, plumbing contractors, plumbing services. And you see for each of these keywords also we have a monthly search volume graph. We have the average monthly searches, the competition, and the suggested bid. So when I'm using this to set up a campaign, there is a way where you can move these keywords over to a plan over here and kind of save them. I find it's easier just to have a separate document opened and just toggle back and forth between this and that document and add your keywords over there. Usually I do that in a spreadsheet. So you can start to list different keyword groupings in different columns of the spreadsheet, and then those will become your ad groups. So if you have an ad group for plumber, you'd likely have toilet repair in a different ad group. You'd have rooter in a different ad group. So once you start to move these over to a spreadsheet, then you can start to sort your ad groups that way. Also, when you're looking down this list, you're going to start to see keywords that don't look good. So if you're a plumber that doesn't do garbage disposal repair, you don't do anything with garbage disposals, you'll probably want to add garbage and disposal to your negative keyword list. So on that same spreadsheet where you're adding your keyword ad group lists, you'd want to have a separate column for negative keywords and start to compile those there. Now you can also sort this list by average monthly searches. If you want to see the related keywords with the highest monthly searches, you can see that these aren't always the most relevant keywords. You can also search by suggested bid. So you see some relatively high suggested bids here for some keywords. Most of you are going to be in industries that don't have bids this high. But this is what some companies are bidding, and they're profiting by paying over $100 per click. If you're running an emergency plumbing service and you're able to answer all your calls and schedule those emergency jobs, then yes, it is possible to profit even if you're paying per click this high. So you can see when we sort by suggested bid, you're going to get a lot of high value keywords, a lot of keywords that most plumbing companies are going to want to bid on. And obviously they are bidding on these, which is why this suggested bid has gotten so high. Let's go back to sorting by relevance here. I showed you earlier there's 700 keywords here. If we go to the very end, this is going to be the least relevant keywords out of those 700. And you can see that they are talking about plumbing certification, plumbing statistics, jobs for plumbers. Basically, none of these keywords would be good for us to bid on. So the system does do a pretty good job of showing you the most relevant keywords first. By the time you get a few pages in, it's pretty likely that you've located almost all the keywords that you would want to bid on. A couple other things I want to show you. If you're in a smaller town, sometimes you're not going to get very good data. I live in Grand Forks, North Dakota. So if we change the location there, we still see a lot of the same keywords here, but as you can see, there's only 20 searches for plumber. Most of these keywords have 10 or fewer searches, and it's not giving me any real suggested bids here. So if you're in a city like that, it's going to be a lot harder to just select your city. For better data, you may need to expand to your whole state or even to the whole country. The information shown here for the suggested bid is just that. It's just a suggestion. A lot of the time, you'll be able to bid a lot lower and still get good traffic from one of these keywords. And sometimes you'll have to bid a lot higher to get good traffic from these keywords. It is a pretty good guide if you're just looking at relative costs. But it's just a suggestion. It's not a perfect system. So don't look at this and get scared because all the bids are too high. And don't look at it and get excited because you see a really low bid that you think you can profit well on. It's just a suggestion. Once you actually start running the campaign, that's when you're actually going to figure out what you're going to have to pay for your AdWords. So that's the keyword planner in a nutshell. You can also download these results if you want. Some people prefer to sort things on a spreadsheet. I like using spreadsheets myself. You can put all this data into a pivot table and organize it pretty well that way. So that's how you use the planner. I hope you found some value in this video. Please shoot me a message if you have any other questions.